Hey, just jumping on here really quick to be able to answer some questions and talk through the piece of narcissistic abuse, what it actually looks like, what it actually is, and also how to help you actually be free. A big piece inside the journey of breaking free from narcissistic abuse is getting to the first place where you wake up. Like, there's a reality that you got to wake up to the reality of you're stuck in a toxic relationship. And if you don't actually fix the toxic relationship, if you don't actually fix your reality, how long are you going to continue to be stuck? Too many people stay stuck mentally and emotionally for a long period of time, sometimes getting to the place where they're completely trauma bonded, completely addicted to the abusive asshole that's in their life, and they're not sure how to actually separate, how to actually move apart, how to actually go no contact. The big piece inside the healing journey is getting to a place where you can actually say, he doesn't matter to me anymore. I don't feel that way anymore. I don't connect that way anymore. Can you imagine your life if you'd actually have that? Well, right now I'm on here just to be able to talk through and be able to go through this piece of narcissistic abuse, but also a piece where you can just ask questions. So drop questions in the chat of where you're at, what you're dealing with, the mindset, the thought process that you're struggling with inside of dealing with a toxic relationship. I'm going to be on here for about 20 minutes up until my therapy session, and then I got to jump off and be able to talk to her and kind of work through some other things. But inside of here, we're here to be able to talk about narcissistic abuse. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist turned abuse recovery coach to help you break free from the toxicity that you're currently struggling in, currently trapped in, can't figure out what you're doing, can't figure out how to actually be free. All inside of this is to find out who you are. Big piece that people normally stay stuck in for a long period of time is being just simply trapped mentally, emotionally, physically with a toxic person. I want to help you actually move forward in the healing process. So let's talk a little bit. What's coming up for you inside of here and inside this possibility and this problem of what is going on dealing with narcissistic abuse? First, like and definitely a subscriber for over a year. Respect to you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Over a year. I'm glad that you've been sticking around. Where are you at? What are you struggling with? Drop comments, questions down below. Let's talk. Dealing with narcissism, narcissistic abuse, breaking free, being free, finding freedom. Many different times, like trying to figure out how to actually set up yourself for freedom long term. One of the most difficult things to do. We just had our yearly planning event that happened this past weekend. It was absolutely amazing because we got to work with people all across the globe to set up their long-term freedom, their long-term success of who they want to be and how they want to show up. It was really amazing. Drop any questions, comments that you have down below in the chat. I'm going to be here to be able to answer some questions. We're going to hang out for a little bit today, and then we're going to jump. I got about 20 minutes. All right. What other questions you guys have? Going once, going twice. No questions. Everybody's quiet today. Super quiet crowd today. Where y'all coming from? What state, what area, what country? Where y'all tuning in from today? Just curious. Hello, hello. All right. Looks like we got a quiet group today. Inside of this, we're talking through how to heal, how to grow, how to develop from dealing with narcissistic abuse. What's coming up for you? I don't connect anymore, but I freezes because I want to go away. But if I'm not really sure what's going on there. Philly. Okay, awesome. Hello, hello. I just discovered your channel recently based in Prague. Awesome. That's really cool. We got people all over the place. Well, let me ask you, if you just discovered my channel, what questions do you have? Whether that's about me or about narcissism, narcissistic abuse, what's coming up for you inside of that? Gary, Indiana. Haha, that reminds me of, what is it? Music Man, right? Gary, Indiana. It's from the song. Yep, love musicals. I used to watch musicals all the time. Questions. You have a question. Ask the question instead of saying you have a question, because I need to see the question or else I have no clue that you have a question. What question you got? Let's go. If we have questions, we can rock and roll. We can work through all this. Can a narcissist fall in love? Well, let me ask you this. What is your definition of love? Like, what does that actually look like for you? And what do you mean by him falling in love with you? Or what do you mean by him falling in love? Can a narcissist love? Is that possible? Is it possible for him to have the emotion of love? Yeah, that's possible. Is it possible for him to put someone else's needs above his own? Not without being honest, no. because everything he's going to do is going to come back to him, of like what he wants to do, how he wants to feel better about himself, to make sure that he doesn't feel bad. One of the things I talked about today inside of the guys group that I run, of dealing with guys with narcissism, narcissistic tendencies, liars, cheaters, like one of the groups that I run, one thing that we talked about today inside of our group was this piece of feeling uncomfortable with someone else's emotions. A narcissist doesn't want to feel uncomfortable with your emotions, so he'd rather be like, don't want to deal with it. It's going to push you away. What are the traits of narcissists in women? Same as in men, just swap it. I don't work with women narcissists. I don't work with guys that have been abused by women narcissists. Doesn't work out, doesn't fit inside the programs that we run. Why are narcissist persons so selfish? Because it's all about them. Like there's a piece of it that it's like, if you take someone and you say, hey, you can be king of your universe and you don't have any consequences and you don't have to own up to anybody, like what would you do? Like if you could take away like all different pieces of it and you could just be like, I can do whatever I want, that's what a narcissist is doing. That's what a narcissist is thinking. I have an ex that was in my life since 17, but it made me seem like we weren't together, but told me we was together. How do I let go of the idea of him being a good man when he makes me feel like nothing? Go off of how he makes you feel like nothing. What good man is going to be like, hey, I'm a good man, and I'm also going to make you feel like shit. But make sure you know that I'm a good man. Narcissists are going to put this like dynamic back and forth that's going to be very confusing. And when this is happening, you start to wonder, is he a good guy? Is he not a good guy? Maybe he is a good guy because he keeps telling me. Don't go off of his words, go off of his actions. Go off of what you actually see, what you actually experience. Does that make sense? Like we have to be able to switch it. If we don't, we stay stuck mentally and emotionally. This is the biggest thing. A narcissist doesn't have to win at anything. He just has to keep you stuck. Do you believe NPD is curable? I see their conflicting point of views. My therapist said that if an NPD person goes into therapy, they kind of become better behaved, but learn to manipulate better. I don't think anyone can change, grow, and develop unless they're willing to be honest. Majority of narcissists are not willing to be honest about who they are. They're not willing to be honest about the shame, the guilt, the things that are actually inside that oftentimes are promoting and pushing how they're actually showing up. The avoidance of dealing with that automatically has them come out as being abusive to other people. So inside of that, I think anyone can be healed. I think anyone can grow and develop and change. Does that mean everyone will? No, not at all. Does that mean everybody will have the opportunity? Everybody has the opportunity. Not everybody's going to take it. Because dealing with it and working through it is a hard, long journey. This whole piece of like working through it is very, very difficult. Same exact thing happens on the abuse side. Like we have hundreds of women that we work with inside of dealing with the trauma bond, getting rid of the triggers, processing the emotions, all those different pieces that we deal with. All of that doesn't work unless she's willing to be honest with herself about what she's actually going through. Like if a woman's not willing to be honest about the abuse that she's suffering, then she doesn't get healed either. If a narcissist isn't honest about what he's doing, he doesn't get healed. So understand that like anyone can heal. The thing that I look at the most is a person's ability to actually be honest with themselves. Why do they need so much control? So it was interesting today inside of our group coaching call, I was actually talking to a couple of guys, and one of the things that came up was the piece of lying, right? Like lie. A narcissist lies nonstop. A narcissist lies about everything and anything, lies about stuff he doesn't even need to lie about, right? And there's a piece of it that one guy had this really amazing like insight, and it was this piece of like lying and doing this thing called drip truth, where you like tell a little bit, then a little bit, then a little bit, because you're afraid of the outcome. You're afraid that the person's going to leave you, afraid the person's going to like run away, whatever it is. Like there's this piece of like lies. And so the narcissist is like, if I lie, then I control all the information, right? If I lie, I control all the information. You only get a little bit of the information. So then if I lie, I control the information. I control you. I control what you do, and I control the decision that you make. Meaning I control you to stay in the relationship versus you actually leaving. Because if you leave, then your emotions, your frustrations, all the different pieces that I don't want to feel will be exposed, and then I have to deal with it. I don't want to deal with it, so I'd rather keep you trapped. Does that make sense? Hopefully you're following me so far. So inside this piece of, hey, I want to have control, it's a piece of like, I need to have control over you so I don't feel bad about myself. The narcissist oftentimes thinks that they have control. Narcissist doesn't have control. He doesn't have control over shit. What's actually happening underneath? Shame. Shame has control. Why? Because he feels shame, he lies. And because he feels shame, he lies, and he falls into the pit of just continuously lying over and over and over. So he's like, I'm going to have control by lying so I can actually take care of the situation so she doesn't leave. No, what it is shame is actually saying, hey, shame's here. Let's go ahead and lie so you don't feel bad. All this stuff. So you're going to see this happen over and over and over, this piece of lies. And you're going to see a narcissist continue to lie over and over because you run away from shame. And that comes out in the form of control. He would just say, I could have let you go after he made me get an abortion. He said it was for my future. That hurts, but I'm healing. I'm not even worried about him no more. Good. Trisha would love to be able to help you inside of like the healing process. We have a lot of people that are in your situation that are trying to be able to put themselves back together. You can go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough just to be able to learn a little bit more, be able to understand. What's the use of the silent treatment? To be able to keep you at bay and keep you keep coming back for more. It's like the more he can push you away, the more you keep coming after him. It makes him feel good about himself. What are some of the biggest differences between covert narcissists and avoidance? I'm talking about my husbands. Do they often overlap? Yeah, they overlap a lot. I don't really focus of like that one's a narcissist trait and that one's an avoidant trait, because at the end of the day, I actually don't care. And the reason why I say that is not because I'm just trying to be like annoying. I'm just saying like, let me put it this way. If he punches you in the face and he's a narcissist, and if he punches you in the face and he's avoidant, which one matters? Neither one. What matters is you actually have someone who just punched you in the face. But the problem is so many times we'll get distracted about figuring out all the nuances about the toxic guy versus what actually is happening to you. Like the shit that's getting put on you, that's getting like punched in the face, like that idea. Like maybe there's someone on here that's watching this that they've been choked out by a narcissist. That person needs to know they're 750 times more likely to be killed by that person. Why? Because that's the stats. That's the traits that actually happen. So at the end of the day, I don't care if they got choked out by a narcissist or by a avoidant. I care that they got choked out. That's the big thing. We'll get it all skewed up and we'll focus on different pieces. But yeah, they can totally overlap. They do all the time. James, you can definitely listen to all of this. I just don't have a program for men that have been abused. And I don't have a program for women narcissists. I work with women that have been in toxic relationships and men that have shown up as narcissists and trying to be able to put their lives back together, show up honest and productive inside of life. James, if you've been in a relationship with a narcissist, or you've been in a relationship and she's like cheated on you, then I'd advise you to check out Genuine Attraction. Should be genuineattraction.com, I think. Otherwise, it's called Genuine Attraction. Ed Baxter runs that, but he works with guys that have been cheated on. My narcissist ex would always reiterate that he is very honest and direct, but he would go into painful, unnecessary, brutal truth rather aimed at hurting me. I've fought him on so many contradictions. Yeah, a lot of times he's going to try to find the one thing that's going to poke and prod at you and hurt you the most, and continue to do that over and over and over. Where are the emotions of a narcissistic person? What do you mean, where are they? Narcissists have emotions. They just don't process a lot of them very well. Much like people that haven't healed typically don't process their emotions very well, or their triggers. And if you don't process the emotion, the triggers, then you don't actually move forward. Do narcissists sleep with family members? Narcissists don't care either way. So they could or they couldn't. Narcissist typically isn't going to care. Hopefully that makes sense. So it's not like it's yes, it does, yes, it doesn't. Hopefully that makes sense. Any other questions? What questions you guys have? If you guys are tuned in right now and you're like, hey, what is this about? I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel, turned abuse recovery coach to actually help you break free from toxicity. So a lot of times I'm trying to break down different thoughts and ideas and mental like constructions of like what's actually happening in your relationship based on what I know about mine. How I showed up in a toxic way, how I showed up as a gaslighter, as an abuser, as a manipulator, as a person who continued to cheat on my wife for multiple years because I didn't care. And then there's this piece of honesty. And honesty is the pivotal cornerstone for everything. If you are not honest, and you're not honest with your partner, and the partner's not honest with you, you don't have a relationship. There's nothing actually there. There's no foundational truth to actually build the whole relationship on. So a narcissist can't change and grow and develop at all if there's not a willingness to be honest. But first, not even honest with everybody else, with himself. Dealing with it. What other questions y'all have? Just drop them in the chat. Can you maybe make a video where you say in which ways you still struggle even after many years of therapy in your daily life? That's a good question. I would say especially comes out as far as like being like tired, right? Like tiredness can be like a trigger where like inhibitions get lowered of like how I'm gonna come across. There can be different types of like empathy. Empathy of like I know, but like empathy of I don't want to deal with this right now. or I feel inconvenienced, right? So like the other night, our daughter was like not wanting to go to bed. So like she went to bed, but then she kept coming out of her room. I was getting annoyed. I was getting frustrated. Okay. It's not necessarily something I'm like, oh, this is narcissistic. I'm just saying like, this is just daily life struggles, right? So she keeps coming out and I'm getting frustrated of like, why won't you stay in your room? You're not listening. And she wasn't coming out because there was any issue or there was anything that was wrong. She was coming out because she just wanted to come out. Yeah, there might be underlying things. I don't know. Okay. Well, I just know that right now she's going through her rebellious stage where everything has to be explained to her, or she won't do anything at all. And she just keeps like doing the opposite. So I got pissed and I got frustrated. I started like raising my voice at her. Is that something I want to do? No. Is that a tendency? That could be a tendency whenever, especially when I'm tired or when I'm feeling inconvenienced. Again, it's all a piece that has to come back to my own emotional regulation. It's not anything about her. It's not her issue or her problem. It's mine. Like how I'm actually processing, how I'm actually dealing with the things that are happening like right then and there. For people who don't know about the healing journey, please go on it. Yeah, 100%. Do narcissists ever self-reflect honestly, or is it always someone else's fault? Typically, it's always someone else's fault. It typically has to be someone else's fault. And the reason why I say that is because if it's not someone else's fault, then it's the narcissist's fault, then he has to deal with it. But if it's someone else's fault, then he's the victim and then doesn't feel bad about it. Hopefully that makes sense. If y'all are looking for help healing inside of this, please go to rebelmotivations.com. You can click on Breakthrough Call for Women, and that is the place for you to be able to hear and interact with some of my content, but then also see what I do to be able to help you actually heal, break the trauma bond, move forward in the healing process. I've got a couple opportunities open even this week for you to be able to schedule. It's got a place for you to be able to schedule and us have a call, be able to see where you're at. My narcissistic boyfriend just had a stroke after 5 months of no contact. You reach out, guess what? I'm talking to him, but my feelings have changed. He has no friends or family, setting boundaries. Good luck. Oftentimes, like setting boundaries is not the problem. Keeping them is the problem. But how can you help them if it's always someone else's fault? Them to realize that it's not someone else's fault. Why do they get off on hurting you? A psychopath or a sociopath oftentimes does. A narcissist isn't getting off most of the time on hurting you. All he's trying to do is protect himself in his mind. He's not doing something of like, oh, this would be a good way to inflict pain. Most narcissists aren't looking at that frame at all. Sociopath or psychopath, yeah. But narcissist is more like, okay, this is going to be painful if this person finds out that I'm a liar and a cheater. So let me lie to them so that they don't find out that I'm a liar and cheater, because they'll have feelings that I don't want to deal with, and it'll expose the shame inside of me that I don't want to deal with. So let's do that. And then at the end of the day, it ends up hurting you. He's like, at least I didn't get hurt. That's okay. At least I didn't get hurt. Yeah, it sucks for you, but at least I didn't get hurt. Okay, see, it's all about them. It takes courage to be honest, since narcissists struggle with a lot of shame. 100%. Shame is like the biggest driving factor underneath narcissism. How do you help a narcissist if it's always someone else's fault? You have to be able to bring them to a place of truth and honesty. You have to understand if you're asking for you. So think of it this way. If you're the person in your life and you have a narcissist in your life, that's your romantic partner, husband, boyfriend, whatever, and you're like, how do I make him understand? You're probably not going to do it. Like I'm just saying, the majority of people, I've talked to almost 4,000 people in like one-on-one calls. Like by this time, I've seen a lot of trends. You're typically not going to wake him up. Someone else might, some other content might, something else might, but not you. Why? Because he doesn't respect you at all. You already know this by how he's treated you. So it's like, hey, think of it like if you had someone in your life that you don't respect. I don't know. Maybe they're a drunk and a deadbeat and they never amount to anything. And you're like, they come to you and they're like, let me tell you how to run your business. And you're like, you don't even know anything because you don't even do anything, right? You're not going to have respect. The narcissist doesn't have respect for you. So you coming to him and being like, hey, let me tell you how you're an awful person, or let me tell you what's wrong with you. He's like, yeah, I'm a good person, whatever. So a lot of times you're not going to be able to get through him because he doesn't respect. What is predatory? I'm not sure what we're talking about. Why do they continue to hoover you with generic messages when with the new supply? That's to keep you in the loop, to keep you around so you can be able to use and abuse you down the road. Hitting rock bottom. When the narcissist is all alone, will they have to wake up and start start doing something about it? Most narcissists won't do something about it because when they wake up all alone, they're like, who can I find so I'm not all alone? They do the cycle all over again. It's very rare that they wake up alone. They're like, I'm all alone. Maybe I should fix this. It's like, I'm all alone. Everybody left me. I don't know why people leave me. I'm such a good guy. Let me go find someone else. You see what I mean? What other questions you have? Can you now, when you have conflict with someone, see when you're in the wrong better, or is it still harder from time to time? It's a lot easier to see it now. So like my wife and I, we can have different arguments and we work through it a lot differently than we've ever worked through before. 100%. Like that was like a very difficult time of dealing with communication issues and things like that. Now I can actually see it, but now the difference is like holding space to be able to hear both sides. YouTubers are narcissists. They always think they're right and everyone else is wrong. Welcome to human society. It's not just about YouTubers. YouTubers are all narcissists. Okay. Anyways, moving on. Any other comments or questions? Got a couple minutes and I gotta get off. Because I have therapy coming up. I do that on Tuesdays. New supply is my neighbor and we all live in the same street. Suggestions to deal with this. LOL, you just proved it's true, bud. Yeah, no shit, because this is how it goes. You poke comment, I come back in a silly way, and then you keep going back and forth. So I can prove that I'm right and a wonderful person, and I can just block you. Or we can stop dealing with your stupid ass comments, and you can actually move on and actually helping people heal instead of being a jerk on here. Your choice, okay? New supply is my neighbor, and we all live on the same street. Suggestions to deal with this. I would say when you see them and when you interact, like when you see them before interacting, I would just say like disengage, like try to be able to avoid contact as best as possible. Like you're gonna find this piece where a lot of times he'll try to do different things. They might try to walk in front of your house just to trigger you. They might try to like walk past your house just to trigger you, just to like make you feel bad. But like all this is doing is trying to like poke and prod at you. The more you can actually just ignore completely, the better. So like the more you can just focus on you. What make them leave you alone forever? It's not necessarily something for sure that will make them leave you alone forever. That sometimes they have to get to a place where they're like filing, like you're like filing for like a no contact or like a order protection or something like that. Sometimes you have to go legal route to make sure that you actually are having space to be able to heal. Hopefully this helps in just answering questions today. I'm going to jump on some more to be able to answer questions because it's been a while since I've been doing this. So feel free to just be able to leave any comments. Would love to be able to help you move forward in the healing process. I got to jump off because I got to meet with my therapist coming up here in a couple minutes. If you want help with this, then go to rawmotivations.com. We'd love to show you what I do and actually help you be free mentally and emotionally from the toxicity you're currently stuck in. You all have a blessed, wonderful day. We'll see you all next time.